Yesterday, we saw leaders of major powers holding talks. I would like to encourage all our Coast Guard colleagues. No matter how unpredictable the situation at sea may be, we have weathered every kind of storm, have we not?
Taiwan unveils new high-tech ships after she's veiled hint of an invasion to Trump, a clear signal that Taipei is accelerating its naval modernization in response to rising threats across the Strait. Taiwan's message to Beijing came in the form of newly unveiled missile warfare ships, platforms designed to strengthen deterrence and complicate any planning for potential amphibious assault. Xi's warning to Trump, followed by conspicuous silence from Washington, has prompted analysts to ask whether the pattern confirms a real invasion plan or simply reflects high-stakes diplomatic signaling between rivals. Taiwan's Coast Guard unveiled the last of its 12 new high-tech ships that are built to carry missiles, a milestone delivery that completes a rapid force modernization push intended to boost the island's layered maritime defenses. The Anping-class catamaran patrol ships are based on the Navy's Tuo Chiang-class warships, adapting a proven fast-attack hull form into a Coast Guard platform with enhanced speed and survivability. The unveiling of the warships was reported by Reuters on May 15 during President Trump's China trip, a timing that highlighted how regional naval developments are intersecting with major diplomatic events. Tuo Chiang-class warships are highly maneuverable vessels designed to take out larger ships, using speed, low observability, and concentrated firepower to punch above their weight in contested littoral waters. The Taiwan Coast Guard version has space to fit anti-ship missiles and is intended to serve as a backup to the Navy, offering a dispersed and resilient layer of strike capability in case frontline naval assets are constrained. The Coast Guard no longer performs solely traditional law enforcement duties, having been equipped and reorganized to play a direct role in Taiwan's deterrence posture and joint defense planning.
When central and local authorities work hand in hand, and when the Coast Guard stands with the people, Taiwan will be safer and the seas will hold greater promise. We are the roots of the nation. Yesterday, we saw leaders of major powers holding talks. I would like to encourage all our Coast Guard colleagues. No matter how unpredictable the situation at sea may be, we have weathered every kind of storm, have we not? We ride the waves, we stand firm at our posts, and we display utmost bravery. It is precisely this spirit that forms the most important foundation for the nation's long-term survival and sustainable development. In recent years, the international situation has changed rapidly, and the challenges faced in the waters surrounding the Taiwan Strait have continued to intensify. From grey zone harassment and incursions by Coast Guard vessels to the protection of critical infrastructure and undersea cables, frontline Coast Guard personnel are shouldering far more than traditional law enforcement duties. They are safeguarding sovereignty and protecting our homeland. The CG-615, ship number, being launched, named, today has been developed precisely in response to the needs of our times. Under normal circumstances, it is equipped with excellent maneuverability, strong seaworthiness, and advanced law enforcement equipment, enabling it to maintain maritime security. It is also tasked with a range of duties, including rescue, life-saving, and emergency response. And once the situation escalates, through the wartime transition mechanism, it can quickly connect with the overall defense system, be incorporated into the order of battle, and become an important force in the maritime defense line.
China views Taiwan as part of its own territory despite Taipei's insistence on its sovereign status, a stance Beijing maintains in policy, rhetoric, and long-term strategic planning. For many months, China has been signaling and hinting at plans to invade and occupy Taiwan, using a mix of drills, diplomatic pressure, and public warnings to keep Taipei and its supporters on edge. On May 14th, China's president issued a direct threat to his US counterpart about Taiwan, a high-profile warning that underscored Beijing's determination to oppose any moves toward formal independence. After offering talks on major issues, Xi's remarks in the historic meeting with Trump in Beijing were widely read as a direct warning. She was said to speak openly in a way that put pressure on the US side and added to the tense mood of the meeting amid global tensions. Significantly, Beijing issued a stark warning over Taiwan, telling Washington that interference would carry serious consequences. She made China's stance on Taiwan clear, outlining the costs and consequences that Washington could face if it crossed Beijing's red lines. The Chinese president said, and I quote, "The Taiwan question is the most important issue in China-US relations. If mishandled, the two nations could collide or even come into conflict, pushing the entire China-US relationship into a highly perilous situation," unquote. Taiwan remains on edge as China continues military drills around the island, keeping tensions high across the Taiwan Strait. The United States is pressing Taiwan to increase its defense budget as China intensifies its military activity around the island. She could try to take advantage of the USA's depleted weapons stockpile, raising fears about whether Taiwan could face greater pressure. US missile and defense system stocks were nearly used up in the 40-day war with Iran, highlighting how quickly modern warfare can drain arsenals.
Let me say a few words first, and then I'd like to invite you, Mr. President, to deliver your opening remarks. President Trump, I'm very pleased to meet you in Beijing. Welcome back to China after 9 years. The whole world is watching our meeting. Currently, transformation not seen in a century is accelerating across the globe, and the international situation is fluid and turbulent. The world has come to a new crossroads. Can China and the United States overcome the Thucydides trap and create a new paradigm of major country relations? Can we meet global challenges together and provide more stability for the world? Can we, in the interest of the well-being of our two peoples and the future of humanity, build a brighter future together for our bilateral relations? These are the questions vital to history, to the world, and to the people. They are the questions of our times that you and I need to answer as leaders of major countries. This year is the 250th anniversary of American independence. Congratulations to you and to the American people. I always believe that our two countries have more common interests than differences. Success in one is an opportunity for the other, and a stable bilateral relationship is good for the world. China and the United States both stand to gain from cooperation and lose from confrontation. We should be partners, not rivals. We should help each other succeed and prosper together, and find the right way for major countries to get along well with each other in the new era. Mr. President, I look forward to our discussions on major issues important to our two countries and the world, and working together with you to set the course for and steer the giant ship of China-U.S. relations, so as to make 2026 a historic landmark year that opens up a new chapter in China-U.S. relations. I will pause here and hand over to you, Mr. President. Thank you.
President Xi, I want to thank you very much. First of all, that was an honor like few have ever seen before. And I think I was particularly impressed by those children. They were happy. They were beautiful. The military is obvious. It couldn't be better, but those children were amazing, and they represent so much. And I know they represent so much to you. You and I have known each other now for a long time. In fact, the longest relationship of our two countries that any president and president has had. And that's, to me, an honor. We've had a fantastic relationship. We've gotten along. When there were difficulties, we worked it out. I would call you, and you would call me. Whenever we had a problem, people don't know. Whenever we had a problem, we worked it out very quickly. And we're going to have a fantastic future together. So I really look very much forward to our discussion. It's a big discussion. There are those that say this is maybe the biggest summit ever. They can never remember anything like it. I can say in the United States, people aren't talking about anything else. But it's an honor to be with you. It's an honor to be your friend. And the relationship between China and the USA is going to be better than ever before. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Taiwan has now responded after Trump sidestepped a direct Taiwan question in Beijing, stressing that it is watching the summit closely even if its name didn't appear in the public script. On May 14th, officials in Taipei said the Xi-Trump summit brought no surprising information so far, signaling that nothing they have heard yet suggests a sudden shift in U.S. policy. Deputy Mainland Affairs Minister Liang Wenqi emphasized that Taiwan will maintain close communication with the U.S. National Security Team, underlining how much Taipei still relies on that back-channel clarity. Liang also pointed out that Taiwan comes up at virtually every US-China meeting, hinting that the absence of public mention does not mean the island wasn't central to the private talks.
The Trump-Xi meeting is, of course, attracting widespread attention. We will naturally be paying close attention to its development, the entire process, and its outcome. The National Security Team is also maintaining close contact with the U.S. side, and so far there has been no unexpected information. As for the journalist's question regarding Xi Jinping describing the maintenance of peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait as the greatest common ground between China and the United States, I would say that this issue goes beyond merely being the greatest common ground between the two countries. It is also the greatest common ground for the entire Asia-Pacific region, and indeed for the world as a whole. Peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait are of vital importance globally, whether in terms of technology, trade, or other areas. Therefore, we do not find these remarks particularly surprising. We would like to emphasize that, while Xi Jinping has said that the independence of Taiwan is the greatest risk to peace in the Taiwan Strait, however, in Taiwan, the primary objective pursued by the public is to maintain the existing status quo of the Republic of China. This is the broadest consensus among the Taiwanese people. At present, the greatest risk to peace in the Taiwan Strait lies in the Chinese Communist Party's intention to undermine the status quo and to disrupt the continued existence of the Republic of China. That, in fact, is where the real risk to peace in the Strait currently resides. We hope that, if there is genuine concern for peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait, the Chinese Communist Party should first scale back its military intimidation against Taiwan. Thank you.
Taiwan's comments come right after she warned Trump that mishandling the Taiwan issue could push China-US relations from tense competition into outright clash or conflict. Beijing claimed Taiwan could push the relationship into very dangerous territory if handled poorly, framing the island as the central fault line between the two powers.
During the bilateral meeting, President Xi Jinping pointed out that the Taiwan issue is the most important issue in China-US relations. If handled well, bilateral relations can maintain overall stability. If handled poorly, the two countries will clash or even conflict, pushing the entire China-US relationship into a very dangerous situation. Taiwan independence and peace across the Taiwan Strait are incompatible. Maintaining peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait is the biggest constraint on both China and the U.S. must handle the Taiwan issue with utmost caution. This morning, President Xi Jinping and President Trump held bilateral talks, reaching consensus on building a new positioning for constructive, strategic, and stable relationship between China and the United States, providing strategic guidance for China-U.S. relations over the next 3 years and beyond. Constructive strategic stability should be characterized by positive stability based on cooperation, benign stability with moderate competition, normalized stability with manageable differences, and lasting stability with a prospect of peace. China is willing to work with the United States to translate this new positioning of China-U.S. relations into concrete actions and jointly promote the stable, healthy, and sustainable development of China-U.S. relations. China's position on opposing the United States arms sales to Taiwan is consistent and clear. The sanctions imposed by China are in response to Mr. Rubio's remarks and actions concerning China during his tenure as a U.S. Senator.
After the talks, Trump declined to answer reporters who asked directly whether Taiwan had been discussed, leaving the question hanging in front of cameras.